Commissioner Bowerly, my question on the conformity issue, I know this is a continuation, and I just wanted to get the answer on the record to make sure that I understand correctly and make sure that Minnesotans do too. And that has to do with the relief for debt that has been discharged. And the issue there is, of course, we will be conforming, but after the fact. And it's very hard for people who have had debt discharged, mortgage foreclosure, bankruptcies, to come up with the Minnesota tax on that so-called forgiven debt, even in the short term, to send it in, and then to say in a few months or a few weeks, that will be returned. And that is a real hardship, and it's a significant amount of money oftentimes, and it's for people who are oftentimes very precarious financial situations. And I know we had a conversation a little bit after our meeting last week, and I was wondering if you can reiterate that conversation regarding what those people who are in that very unusual but very challenging situation can expect, providing that we do comply and that is the only unpaid portion of their Minnesota taxes. If you could reiterate that, please, that'd be very helpful. Thank you.
Commissioner Bowerly.
Mr. Chairman and Senator Nelson, yes, we know that for a lot of taxpayers, this may well change the structure of their whether they owe taxes or whether they're getting relief. And certainly for some taxpayers in that mortgage indebtedness situation, that could represent a significant amount of income that would be reflected on their taxes that they would not otherwise be reflecting if this passes. And so what we, as I mentioned, we will work with all taxpayers who are affected by this, and if federal conformity is passed, and if the only reason for someone having penalty is because of a federal conformity provision, then what we have done in the past, and I would expect we would do in the future, is work with them to alleviate that penalty, because the penalty wouldn't actually be attributed to an obligation that they failed to pay. I do want to make clear that all taxpayers, and following our conversation, Senator Nelson and I had a chance to speak with some others in the CPA world, and there are other approaches that some CPAs are taking, and so either may not be a one-size-fits-all. Certainly, folks can also reach out to the department and work with us if they want to set up a payment plan and pay an amount by the 18th that they are due, and then that would, of course, adjust any penalty or interest that would be accompanying that as well. So I want to just be clear that taxpayers can make choices about how they want to approach this, but if there is a penalty that is attributed only to a federal update item, and this body and the House and we can actually pass federal conformity into law, that we will be able to make some of those adjustments. But those are two big ifs.
Mr. Chair.
Senator Nelson, I think the committee is also planning on working to see if there's language needed so that we can forgive interest and penalties if it's the result of the discharge, but not other provisions.
Yes. Thank you.
Senator Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioner. That does answer my question. I think that provides great clarification. I've visited with a number of CPAs who are certainly wondering as well as taxpayers. So thank you for the clarification.